For those who are new to the channel, I share videos and tutorials here on YouTube, and you can find free high-resolution photo references on my Patreon site. If you like what I do and you want to support me, you can show your love over at Patreon. Hi guys, I'm Elise Wong, and in this video, I like to share with you the tools I use to do realistic sketches. I think sketching is a good way to enter the art world, as the materials and supplies are much cheaper than any other medium. And depending on what you want to sketch, you don't have to focus on things too complex. You can just focus on the composition and tones of your subject. I'm going to start on a few short tutorial videos for beginners. If you are interested, I would highly appreciate if you like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you know when my next video comes out. I hope these videos can help kickstart your art journey, and perhaps will help answer a few questions you have of your own. And without further ado, let's carry on with the video. Okay guys, so these are the tools I use to do a sketch. As long as you have paper, pencil, and eraser, you're practically good to go. However, there are a few different tools that help make the job easier and more appealing to the eye. I'll go through with you the names of these tools, followed by their uses. So these are graphite pencils. They are arranged from lightest to darkest. So this is HB, 2B, 6B, and 8B. This is a polychromos black color pencil, followed by a charcoal pencil and a mechanical pencil, a blending stump, or also known as a tortillon, and two mechanical erasers and a kneadable eraser. As for paper, I'm not looking for anything particularly special or expensive. So I normally use Ardo by Kenpap, and I normally look for three things. I look for texture, acid-free, and thickness. For texture, as I like to do a more realistic approach, I much prefer a smooth texture, so there's no breakage in the line of my pencils. I try to keep it as smooth as possible so you can actually see the details of the animals or subject itself. And for acid-free, it means the life expectancy of a paper is longer than the one that is not, as paper becomes exceedingly acidic as it ages when it's exposed to air and light. And for this one is 100% cellulose acid-free. And for thickness, I often like my paper with a little bit of thickness. Perhaps it's the illusion of worth, because I feel like it's not so easily warped, and I like thickness on my paper, so I like mine with at least 200 GSM. For this one is 225. These graphite pencils here are by Faber-Castell. HB has a harder lead, say compared to 8B, and this makes the shade much lighter. As it progresses, as the number increases, 2B, 6B, 8B, the lead becomes softer and gets darker in tone. This gives a great contrast to your artwork. As sketching is done in black and white, we need that contrast on our side to give a much bigger impact. 9B is the highest in the B series. However, I cannot find one. So I opt for a polychromos black color pencil. This gives an, although slightly darker, but darker nonetheless than the graphite 8B. This is a charcoal pencil by Conte A Paris. Charcoal contains very soft lead, which can be very messy, as the lead dust is easily left behind compared to graphite. Charcoal is very satisfying because it is very, very, very black, much like your cat's soul. It gives a beautiful dark tone to your artwork. This mechanical pencil is by Pilot. Mechanical pencils are so great when it comes to detailing work. They sharpen the edges of your subject and draw precise thin lines such as whiskers that pencils cannot. This blending stump is also by Conte A Paris. It is very useful when you like to blend and soften the artwork. It is helpful because you do not need to use your fingers, as you can also avoid the oil transferring from your skin to the paper. And it keeps things clean and will avoid accidental smudges. Also, your fingers are only so big. Blending stump comes in many different sizes, and they have sharp edges much like pencils, which provides better control and allow blending in very tight spaces. This mechanical eraser is by Faber-Castell. For me, it's not necessary to have this. You can have a normal eraser on hand. I just use this to erase a bigger area in case I do a mistake. However, the smaller one is by Tombow Mono Zero. I choose a rectangular shaped eraser, as I like the corners and use it to erase a much smaller area. Mechanical erasers are used for removing lead work at a more detailed scale. However, when I sketch, I try not to use erasers at all to maintain that pure white of paper, as you can never get it as white anymore once you put lead and you try to erase with it. This is a kneadable eraser by Faber-Castell. They are super cool because they are so flexible, and the best part is they leave no eraser dust behind. They practically pick up the graphite and charcoal and stick to the eraser. So the more you use it, the darker it'll get. It's really good because it doesn't smudge your artwork, and you can also knead it to have a sharper edge to pick up some lead work from your work. I am going to illustrate the purposes of each tool so you guys get a better idea on how its usage are. We're going to start with the HB pencil, as because it is the lightest, and we are going to go from brightest to darkest. So you can see I'm not going to use a lot of pressure here, so you guys get an idea of each shading. So I'm going to use a 2B now, and this is a 6B. So for each pencil, I'm applying the same pressure. This is an 8B. This is a Polychromos black color pencil. So you can see it starts to get darker with little effort. You don't have to, press the lead harder into the paper to get it darker. And last but not least, this is the charcoal pencil. So the charcoal pencil, I'm just doing right now I'm actually pressing really light, much lighter than the graphite pencils, but you can see it's just significantly much darker. It is just like a jump from graphite to charcoal. It's a really big difference. Now you can see that the graphite, the area looks so clean, but you can see that the charcoal has left so much dust behind, and this is very dangerous for your artwork because it can go everywhere. It's easily very smudgeable. And I'm going to throw away these dust, but even when I throw away, it can still leave a mark. So you can see, you can see here, it has gone everywhere. And that is not good for your artwork. And what you can do is you can take a kneadable eraser and you can just tap on it. And that's how I usually do for the charcoal pencil. And for the mechanical pencil, let's say I want to draw a box. So you can see the amount of precision the mechanical pencil have over the pencil. Now you can see charcoal has the softest lead. It's very hard for it to draw a very nice thin line. It's very hard for it to stay sharp, but the harder the lead, the lighter it'll be, and the longer lasting. So this is a HB. Longer lasting, their lead will stay. So you can see the amount of precision the mechanical pencil have. And there you go. So I'm going to use the blending stump now, and I'm going to give a much smoother blending to this. So I hope you can see, pardon my webcam. Now you can see that the blending is so much smoother and it has become a little seamless in its transition. And you can see how charcoal, because charcoal is such a soft lead and the dust goes everywhere, it's much easier to blend the charcoal as compared to graphite. HB is easy because HB is a little lighter, but then the mechanical pencil is a little too harsh, but it can be done. For the Faber-Castell, like I said, it's not necessary to have it, but it is a nice tool to have. It's very nice if you put it in a pencil roll. It fits very nicely. So usually for this, it's more like big areas, so you can just have a normal eraser on hand as I like clean up this section here. But on a real artwork, I actually prefer to use a kneadable eraser so it doesn't smudge everywhere. So for this, I would much prefer to use a kneadable eraser. But for graphite, like let's say if I sketch the skeleton work, I'll just go over it. See, maybe I'll like erase this thing in to make sure it maintains in the box, make it all nice and neat here. Then for the Tombow Mono Zero, this is so good for precision work. So let's see, I will erase and maybe I'll give this one line. So this one line is the Faber-Castell. And the Mono Tombow Zero, this one is to have a much thinner, smoother, thinner line. Look at that. The contrast is so stark. It's so different. Look how thin those lines are compared to the other one. So this one works well like if you want to do whiskers. However, I try not to use erasers when it comes to this because you can see the paper will no longer be as white as the original because there's already lead on it. You try to take as much as away, but at best you can get a light gray. And for kneadable erasers, they're really good because let's say you just want a small one, you want things to be a little lighter, but you don't want such a big area. You can just knead it so it has like that little pointy edge, and you can just tap, 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 tap. It doesn't do such a great work compared to those these two erasers here, but it does lift up some artwork. So you can see these two little circles here. You just tap, 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 tap. Or you want much bigger, you just tap the whole thing. You just tap. And there is no eraser dust behind. So even if I erase it here, look at that. There's no dust whatsoever. So if you say want to erase a big area and you don't want any dust left behind, you can even just roll it and you won't get any eraser dust around at all. So it's very good for initial sketches before you start the true sketching and shading and everything. So there you go. So these are the tools that I use. You can see a little bit of its implementation, and I hope that this video has helped you have an idea about sketching and what it is you want to look for. Thank you for watching, and if you're new to my channel, I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe. I hope this video has helped you a lot, and if you want, you can follow me on Instagram to see what I've been up to. That's all for today. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys!